Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of three documenting our journey to fire, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about the average retirement account by age. I'll outline the average retirement account by age for both Fidelity and Vanguard holders, outline the benefits of our 401k, and how our portfolio stacks up in our age group with all the numbers like always, so please hang with me. But based on our income, we are behind. That is our gross income. Rule of thumb says that by the time you reach your 30s, you should have about 1 to 1.5 times of your salary saved for retirement. For us, that would be about $450,000. We aren't there yet. Now, this rule of thumb is from some arbitrary financial guru, but it does kind of make sense. The high earning years for women is in the late 30s to early 40s, and for men, late 40s to about early 50s. Don't ask me why. So it does seem like your 30s is when you finally start to hit a financial stride, or you're expected to be. But because we fell into the classic double income trap early on, we have some making up to do. My husband and I are in our early 30s, so we do have time, but I like to keep this rule of thumb in the back of my head just as a guideline. But I have to state the obvious. Economic circumstances that most young people are facing today or within the last 2 decades is definitely unique, making it harder to save for retirement. For example, stagnant wages, recessions, dot-com busts, a pandemic, insane college tuition fees leading to crippling debt, limited healthcare benefits, predatory lending practices, and the list goes on. Now, these aren't excuses, but facts, so give yourself grace, especially when you review your numbers against the averages outlined here. So what are the classic or common retirement accounts? Now, there are many different types of retirement accounts, and when you talk to fire journeyers, non-taxable brokerage accounts are definitely included. But I want to stick to the standard Investopedia definition of retirement accounts. You will have your company-sponsored plans that include 401ks, 403bs, 457bs. Depending on when you work, maybe pensions are included as well if you're lucky. You then have your individual retirement accounts such as Roths, traditional IRAs, and then there are SEPs for small business owners. These are the most common retirement accounts, but I know I'm probably missing a few. We hold our money in the following 2 locations. Now, I asked this community where most of your stock investments are housed, and it looks like company-sponsored plans are the most commonplace. For us, it's IRAs, and that's where we roll over all of our old 401ks. But here is our current order of investing. All of our investing dollars go through this funnel. I made an entire video on why we do it this way, but by no means is this a blueprint for FIRE. It's just our own personal order of investing. Now, out of all of these accounts, I would say that the 401k is probably the most important if you have access to it. Not every company offers a 401k, but for those who do have access, sadly, most people don't take advantage of this first step, which is leaving so much money on the table. We always invest in our 401k to at least our company's match, and the number one reason is simple. Well, who doesn't like free money? Your company doesn't care if you don't invest in their 401k because it's an expense for them, but it's a big benefit for you. Taking advantage of the match will put you further and faster on your journey to FIRE. Now, my husband was a contractor for many years, but within the last few years, we made a decision to switch him over to a full-time job with benefits. Now, his pay was cut, as contractors can make a lot of money, but most contractors come with limited to no benefits and rarely come with 401k, let alone a match. We took the pay cut so he could find a job that offered a 401k and match to help us get closer and faster to FIRE. Now, do I miss the higher income? Yes, but I know this was the better option for us in the long run. So what does the average 401k balance look like by age? Here is data from Vanguard's nearly 5 million 401k accounts for future retirees by age within the United States. One thing to call out is this only looks at 401k accounts and not total investments, and it's based off of Vanguard account holders. Hang on for the Fidelity data. Now, the data breaks out the average 401k balances and the median. Always look at the median, as the average includes crazy outliers on both ends. So, for our age group of 25 to 34, the average balance is just under $27,000 and the median is around $10,000. This is a bit lower than I expected, but understandable as most people don't start earning solid salaries until a few years out of college. Right now, we have a combined $29,000 in our 401ks as of July. If you individualize that, that's around $15,000 or $14,500 apiece. Keep in mind that we do have a lot of our money in our IRA versus our 401k, so that can explain why we're a little bit behind based on this data. So here's the data for Fidelity. Fidelity pulls this data annually, and it has over 16.5 million 401k accounts. Now, our 401ks right now are with Fidelity, but have been with Vanguard in the past. Overall, the balances are a bit higher for Fidelity versus Vanguard. For our age range, being 32 and 33, we are well behind the 401k average of just around $42,000 and closer to the median at around $16,500. Not sure what this says about Fidelity 401k account holders, but one thing to note is that the age range are not exactly apple to apples when looking at these data, and that could be skewing the data overall. Now, there are two key benefits of a 401k, but trust me, there are many more. Number one is compound interest or compounded growth. Because you as an employee contribute to the match, let's say 3%, and your company is contributing the same 3%, you are essentially doubling your impact per pay period to this account. The best part is that the 3% does not cost you anything. Now, I had an employer in the past contribute up to 10% to my 401k. In 1 year, they did contribute more than I did to my own individual account. Now, the second benefit is all about taxes. Contributions made to a traditional 401k is tax deferred, and your taxable income for that year is lowered. For example, if you make $70,000 and you contribute $10,000 a year to your 401k, your taxable income will be around $60,000. In addition, your savings grow tax deferred, so any money made on interest, dividends, or capital gains aren't taxed until, and this is a big until, you reach traditional retirement and withdraw that money. Personally, if you have access to a 401k, leverage it. Now, over half of Americans don't have access to a 401k. It's mainly because a 401k is an expense to an employer, despite research showing that the long-term benefits of having a 401k as part of a compensation package is worth it. But get this, of those who do have access to a 401k, only 32% are invested in one. Now, not every company offers a match, but the tax benefits alone should be enough to get you started in your 401k program. Now, I know many people will ask, well, I won't be able to access my 401k until I reach traditional retirement, which is not true at all. A Roth conversion ladder can be a great workaround. Now, there is always a way to access your money. So here's our July portfolio update. I'm working on the August portfolio update video, but time has been escaping me, plus it's also wedding season. But based on the charts we just reviewed, my husband and I are definitely behind on where we need to be from a 401k point of view. But we both started a new job within less than a year ago, so it's expected for both our accounts to be relatively low. I wish the data provided looked at all of the retirement accounts by age and not specifically just 401ks, but it's a good baseline to see where you are in your age group. But if you look at our IRA number, it shows a better view as this represents all of our past 401ks from previous jobs. Collectively, we are still behind the rule of thumb number based on our income, but we are definitely pushing along. Now, I hope we'll be able to get our investments to over $400,000 by the end of this year. It seems doable, but it's partially out of our hand. But things are going to change, and I won't be disappointed if we don't retire in the 8 years as originally planned. But there is this narrative that you have to retire within X amount of years for it to be true FIRE. That I retired in my 30s and 40s is great, but it's not everyone's plan, and that's okay as well. We are targeting our 40s, but even if we retire in our 50s, I'll still feel blessed and happy. Financial independence, retire early means different things to different people, but one thing is for sure, the goal is to retire before a traditional timeline of 65 or 67. It doesn't mean retiring before I get gray hair, if so, I'm already out, but I'm learning to find peace in running my own race at my own pace, especially when it comes to our financial journey or financial marathon. Right now, my employer offers a low percentage match in my opinion. This is probably the lowest I've received in the last 5 to 10 years. 1 or 2% might not seem a lot, but if you take that off of your gross salary, it does add up over time. One thing I always tell friends who are trying to jump or find a new job, comb through the entire compensation package down to the fitness benefits. I wish I had paid more attention to these fine details. If I did, I might have stayed at my old job a little bit longer to maximize the 10% match to help us reach FIRE a little bit faster. But for those who do have a 401k match, what percentage does your company offer? Now, my husband and I are just below 4%, but I feel that is now the norm. Let me know in the comments below. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.